So this second module is all about talent. Talent is really the engine. It's what makes your car move forward. It's what will make your career move forward. So this is a whole 20-minute discussion on the concept of a talent. Now remember that in the old economy, in the days of your parents or most baby boomers, employers and people didn't talk a lot about talent, or whenever we talk about talent, we tend to refer to artistic talents like singers and actors. But in the corporate workplace, we didn't talk a lot about talent. But now more and more human resources people will talk about talent. So it's we're coming of age. The concept of a career is slowly evolving, and it's including talent or the natural abilities of people. So once again, here we have Stephanie's talents. Her passion is theater and communication. Her talents is analysis, ideation or creativity, organization, and voice projection. So she has a very nice voice. Here we talk about talent. We compare talent to skill and we compare it to competence. This is a very interesting discussion. Now this slide is what I call the yin yang slide. You've got to have passion and you've got to have talent. Talent is the doing. Passion is the feeling inside the doing. So passion tends to be more feminine. It's more the yin, whereas talent is more aggressive. It's where you take action. It's where you physicalize your passion. So the two have to come together, because talent is like the engine of a car. You can have the best engine in the world, but if you don't have passion, if you don't have the fuel, the engine is not going to work. On the other hand, you can have a lot of fuel, but if you don't have the engine that will direct the explosion of the fuel, that will channel the energy of the fuel or of passion, then you're not going to go anywhere. You're going to be all over the place. You're going to be passionate, but you're not going to be structured. So you need to have both passion and talent. This is probably one of the most important slides of the workshop, because men tend to be focused on talent, on doing, and women tend to focus on the subjective aspect, on the feeling. But you really need both. So I would say, as a general statement, that women should probably focus more on discovering their talent. They should focus more on action and performance and structure and discipline, and men should focus more on their intuition, on their creativity, their feeling. They should connect to their feeling center. They should really become sensitive to how they feel, and they should really focus on their inner powers. They should really develop their feminine energy, because every human being on this planet has both masculine energy and feminine energy. It's just that men have more of the masculine energy and women have more of the feminine energy, but it's important to really develop both so that you can become a balanced human being. Here we list the 34 talent categories that Tom Rath is describing in his book Strengths Finder 2.0, and when you read the descriptions of these talents, you can recognize right away your top 5 talents, and that's why I really recommend that book to everybody who is looking for their ideal career. Here is a more practical slide. This is where we show the skills that employers really want their workers to have, and these skills come from career services, from the Desautels Faculty of Management. They did research, and these are the skills that they identified as being the most sought after by employers. So this is the third module where we talk about the client solution. The client solution, you can see the arrow going from talent, and then touching the passion bubble, and then becoming a client solution. This arrow is meant to show that you've got to use your talent in conjunction with your passion in order to create a solution. So your solution has to be useful, or it has to be beautiful. In the case of the products of Apple, the company Apple, you realize that their products, and this is very rare, their products are both beautiful and very useful. So their iPod, the iPhone, and the iMac, and all the Apple computers, that's a very good example of a company that that can produce a solution that is both useful and beautiful. So I often recommend to people to look at the products that Apple is designing and creating, because that's a very good example of a company that really understands that people need to have beautiful objects but also useful objects. So that's a good example. So the last module has to do with your values. And notice that meaning, the first two letters of the word meaning is me. So anything can have meaning if you decide and if you feel that it has meaning to you. So it's all about you deciding what is important to you. What do you believe in? What do you stand for? And of course, sometimes it takes a while before a young person can discover his or her own values. So, it's not necessary for you to discover your values when you're 20 years old. But over time, as you evolve in your life and through your career, you're going to discover naturally your values. Some people value freedom, others value creativity and arts and beauty. Every person is different, but no matter what your values are, it's important to choose a line of work that will allow you to express your values. So, in conclusion, we tell people that you are an artist and a creator. You're not just a worker. You're not just a human resource. That's the old economy. That's the old conception of a human being at the workplace. You are now a resourceful human. You are a human being who is endowed with infinite imagination, infinite creativity, and therefore you could be making infinite money. But you've got to learn to manage your human capital. You've got to learn to manage all the assets, all the aspects that are part of you. And the ideal career framework really allows you to really lay everything on the table so that you can see all the ingredients that you have inside of you, and so that you can work with those ingredients and create a work of art. Because really, a career, that's what it's all about. It's a work of art. You are the artist, but you've got to proceed in a systematic way, and the ideal career framework shows you an optimal sequence that you can use so that you can create your ideal career one step at a time. You can go from passion to performance, and when you perform really well because you've practiced it, you've rehearsed it, and you create solutions that are useful or beautiful to the client, that's where it leads to profit. So it's really a secret, not a secret, but it's really a little known sequence that can really benefit you as you build your ideal career. You start with passion, and then performance, and then profit. So in the ideal career workshop,